That she needs help. She doesn't know what to do. He's pushing her around.
Okay, do you know if he has any weapons or anything?
I don't know.
But just hours before this panic 911 call, it was a different kind of frenzy at a popular restaurant in Galveston, Texas, where 27-year-old Chris Chapa and his girlfriend, 22-year-old Claudia Esquivel, are pulling double shifts.
He had gone into work. It was a busy time, lots of brunches, lots of reservations at the restaurant.
But Chris isn't just busy on this Father's Day. He's heartbroken. 4 years earlier, he lost a baby with his then high school sweetheart.
Christopher never really recovered from losing his daughter. It was something that kind of stuck with him, and so he went into work with a very heavy heart, did his job the best that he could, but everyone could tell that he just wasn't himself, and so the managers let him go home early.
Chris leaves while his girlfriend, Claudia, remains behind at work.
My understanding is Claudia had to stay till closing. She wasn't particularly happy about that.
And perhaps exhausted after recently completing the grueling training program at the local police academy in Galveston. Claudia's not a cop yet, but well on her way once she passes the state exams.
It was something actually that Christopher was quite proud of, that Claudia decided she wanted to be a peace officer. He was moving up in his job at the restaurant. He had become supervisor. He was doing training. And so he was excited to see Claudia excited about something.
Around 11 p.m., Claudia wraps up her shift at the restaurant and heads home to the apartment she shares with Chris. And tonight, she's got a special surprise for him.
She wanted to start cooking a crab boil at like 11 o'clock at night, whereas he just wanted to kind of get ready for bed and start the next day. Somewhere in that, they started to get into an argument.
An argument that Chris's sister says began earlier that day when Chris sent a text to his former high school flame.
Father's Day and Mother's Day were always hard times for Christopher and his high school sweetheart. And so they didn't really keep in touch a lot after they broke up, but those 2 days of the year, they would kind of like connect with each other, you know, through text message, just to kind of check on one another because they would always have that bond.
A bond Chris's sister claims Claudia didn't like.
She was very controlling. She wanted to monopolize Christopher's time.
But tonight, Chris has plans of his own.
While she was at work, Christopher and our youngest brother had gotten together. They'd gone to dinner.
Ruining Claudia's crab boil surprise. And while the meal is left to simmer down on the stove, Claudia's anger is just beginning to boil over.
At some point, you know, Christopher was like, I'm done. I'm going to go home. I'm going to take my stuff. I'm going to my mom's house. And he started collecting his belongings and was like, this is the final straw.
Final. Everything.
At some point, she got the gun and she held it to his head and pulled the trigger.
Chris collapses to the floor.
It was one shot to the back of his head, and that was it. And instead of calling 911 to get help, she called her mother.
Several crucial minutes will pass before Claudia's mother calls 911, and she will not mention the shooting or request an ambulance.
Is this your friend?
It's my daughter.
Oh, your daughter?
Yes.
And you said her boyfriend's hitting her?
Yes.
Okay, and he's still there?
Yes.
Do you know if your daughter needs any kind of EMS treatment?
I don't know.
Detective Sollenberger is one of the first to arrive on the scene and realizes this domestic disturbance call is something else. Homicide.
Chris was killed with a single gunshot wound to the head. The entrance wound was behind his right ear, towards the back of the head.
Chris lays bleeding to death with a mortal gunshot wound. And his girlfriend, Claudia, she's nowhere to be found.
Officers contacted dispatch, and dispatch did a little backtracking, contacted her mother. Her mother then said this is where Claudia is. At that point, she was in custody.
Claudia is escorted to the county jail by major crimes detective Hector Dominguez Jr.
She confirmed that she did want to talk about the case, so I took her back to the interview room,
where a video camera records her every word.
As I was walking you downstairs, you said you wanted to talk to me. I want to talk to you. Like I said, I'm not going to move you. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. You said you wanted to talk to me, so I want to talk to you. Okay? You understand that you are under arrest, right? Okay. Gotcha. Well, I guess we can start with what happened.
It's basically another fight, like, that consisted throughout the whole day. You know, that I went through the trouble of making, like, a crab steam pot and everything, right? Well,